Welcome back into the GioMoShow. Appreciate you guys sticking around. Let's get started with Oakland Volleyball as they competed in the Eastern Michigan University tournament where they played games against George Washington University, Marshall, and the hosting Eastern Michigan Eagles. And we'll start with headlines here. Rachel Rossman and Christina Bohm were named to the EMU All-Tournament team. Christina Bohm with 7 block assists and 8 total blocks got her on the EMU Tournament All-Defensive team. And Rachel Rossman, 84 assists, 8.4 assists percent would earn her a spot in the offensive All-Tournament team at the EMU Tournament. And we'll go into a little more detail as to the games they played. Their one against George Washington would end in a sweep. A loss for the Golden Grizzlies 0-3, where the first set it was George Washington winning at 25-21. Oakland would battle even closer in the second set, only getting to 22 points. But then the third set could not muster up the juice needed. 25-16 would be the score of the final set as they would be swept by George Washington. This took place last Friday, by the way, September 6th at EMU. Their next game later that afternoon would be against Marshall University, and this one would go a lot closer than their previous one against George Washington. Unfortunately, a 1-3 loss is what the Golden Grizzlies would be resulted with. They took set 1, 25-22, and then only scoring 16 in the second set would even it out 1-1. Going into extra points, Marshall would come out on top 28-26, and then with the Golden Grizzlies on their back heels, 25-19 is what they will lose set 4-2, giving Marshall the 3-1 victory in the second game of the tournament. However, the Golden Grizzlies would not go defeated the entire trip. That next day, Saturday, September 7th, is when they faced Eastern Michigan, the hosting Eagles, where Oakland would come out on top with a sweep of their own. 25-19 in set 1, 25-10 in set 2, dominating fashion, and set 3 would go into extra points, Oakland winning it 27-24 to be able to get the 3-0 sweep against the Eagles. And as mentioned before, Christina Bohm and Rachel Rossman named to the defensive and offensive tournament teams, respectively. They got their first home game coming up Friday, September 13th. That's today, as of this recording, 6 o'clock. In the arena, they will host Sacramento State at the OU Credit Union Arena, and they will do so, and they'll actually have multiple home games here as it is part of the Michigan/Oakland Invitational. Sacramento State will be held in Rochester, and Sacramento State and Akron would be in Rochester as well. Oakland would then face St. Francis University at the arena, and they will travel to Ann Arbor to face the University of Michigan. That's going on this weekend, September 13th through September 15th. So I guess they're kind of sharing the venues in this seg. Oakland getting a lot of the games. But either way, we got home games coming up for volleyball. Finally, you guys could get to see the action live for yourself on the blacktop at the OU Credit Union Arena. Overall, the Golden Grizzlies sit at 2-4 for their overall record, yet to play a conference game, although that part of the season is quickly approaching. 1-1 in away and 1-3 in neutral sites, coming off of their win against Eastern Michigan. So before we get into women's soccer, I want to remind all of you to subscribe to WXOU Sports on YouTube for all of our sports broadcasts and content from your favorite college radio station. We got live audio broadcasts of all Oakland home games, interviews with athletes and coaches, highlights, and more. You can follow WXOU on all social media platforms, and you can find them on WXOU.org. You can follow them on Instagram at WXOU Radio and on Twitter simply at WXOU. So let's now get into women's soccer. So 2 games were had since the last time that we spoke here on the GioMoShow, September 8th and yesterday, September 12th. On September 8th, they would host the University of Toledo, where Oakland would unfortunately suffer a loss, giving up only 1 goal. 1-0 would be the win for the Rockets. And they traveled to Bowling Green in a tough-fought 0-0 tie. And we'll get into the details of the game, starting with the one against Toledo. So Oakland would hold it to a tied game all the way until the 78th minute. Later into the second half, that's when Allie Macbeth would score for the Toledo Rockets, giving them the 1-0 game-winning goal. As far as the stats are concerned, it was pretty even between the two teams. Toledo would lead 5 shots on goal to 4, although Oakland would lead in total shots 15-13. Otherwise, the saves were even at 4 apiece. Corner kicks, Toledo had the edge on that. 5 corner kicks in the first half, and they would end with 7. Meanwhile, Oakland only had 3 corner kicks throughout the match. Fouls are even at 7. But that last goal, or that only goal rather, would be the one that cost the Golden Grizzlies the game against the Rockets at home. They then traveled to Bowling Green yesterday, September 12th, where it was tied 0-0, but you look a little bit into the stats, and Oakland, and I'll be straight, Oakland was lucky to get out alive in this one, because looking at the stats, Oakland only had 3 shots in the entire game, all of them coming in the second half. They were completely shut out in the first half. Meanwhile, Bowling Green would have 8 total shots in the first half. They would also have 9 in the second half for a total of 17. 7 of them were shots on goal. So Oakland was just trying to withstand the thunderstorm from the Falcons. Going to saves, Oakland, Julia Zangirl with 7 saves, 4 in the first and 3 in the second half. Bowling Green only having 1 save for that 1 shot on goal Oakland had. Bowling Green would have 6 corner kicks. Oakland would have none. And even in the fouls, Bowling Green would have 12. Oakland would have 6. So Oakland able to stand strong and come out of this one with a tie. And given how the game went, that one you can be proud of for the Golden Grizzlies, because that looked tough, to put it in the most respectful terms. So in total, that puts the Golden Grizzlies between their game against Toledo and between their game against Bowling Green, puts them at 1-5-2 on the season. 1-2-1 at home, 0-3-1 away. With the Horizon League season quickly approaching, they'll have one more game out of conference at Ohio University this Sunday, September 15th, before they would host the Robert Morris Colonials Thursday, September 19th at 5 o'clock at the Oakland Soccer Field, as we are already getting into the Horizon League season for women's soccer. So be sure to go out and support your Golden Grizzlies and get them their second win of the season in conference play. So now, before we get into men's soccer, I want to tell you guys all about Jake's Takes. If you want in-depth coverage of all professional sports, along with interviews with coaches and college athletes, both inside and outside of Oakland, then check out Jake's Takes. Hosted by Oakland men's basketball manager Jake Masucci, Jake's Takes is your place to be for all things sports. He's in the middle of his college coaches and athletes interview series, including Oakland men's basketball player Baru Neva-Larua, assistant coach Bobby Naubert, and former Golden Grizzly, now Washington Husky Chris Conway. He's got a whole lot cooking up for you on Jake's Takes. You can subscribe to him wherever you get your podcasts and follow him on Instagram at Jake's Takes with a dot after K. Once again, that's at Jake's Takes with a dot after K, the first K. And look for the yellow logo to find Jake Masucci on Jake's Takes. Let's now get into men's soccer here. Having 2 games, and one of which I'm sure you guys as Oakland fans have gotten the highlights from, but we'll cover the UIC game that was last Friday, September 6th, at home against the former Horizon League team, UIC. Oakland would unfortunately suffer a loss 1-0 to UIC after giving up a goal in the 10th minute and unable to respond. Although not for lack of trying, Oakland was dominant in terms of shots and shots on goal, but unfortunately could not get any of them past, and the one of only 2 shots on goal for UIC would end up scoring and getting them the win. But for the big news, the big story for the Golden Grizzlies men's soccer team this week is Monday night at the Oakland Soccer Field hosting the Michigan State Spartans. Oakland would get their first win under head coach Paul Duro on Monday night in front of a great crowd at the Oakland Soccer Field. I saw all the pictures. I wish I could have been there myself, but seeing all the pictures on social media with the moon glow and with the clock tower lit up and the stadium and the field lights illuminating the crowd, photography-wise, they were fantastic pictures. It was a beautiful scene, but what was also beautiful was the scene on the pitch. As amongst great saves from Alex Flowers to shut out the Spartans, Oakland would win it in dominating fashion, 3-0 over the Michigan State Spartans. it would be in the 25th minute for Jack Klomperens. He would get the goal scoring started, assisted by Jace Foster. And then in the 34th minute, it was Lej Pilanek. I'm going to need help with that, because that was not his only goal in this game. I'm sorry, I'm trying my best here. If you know any better, let me know. He would have another goal before halftime. The 41st minute, he would score again, both of which were assisted by Andrew Darakajan. I need to get better with these names, please. You guys got to help me out here. I'm doing my best here, but either way, all in the first half is when the Golden Grizzlies got their goals against the Spartans. And taking a look at the stat sheet, it's not quite the game where Oakland was just dominating in terms of shots taken. It was dominated in terms of, obviously, those that gone through. But Michigan State had 21 shots and 9 of them on frame during that game, compared to Oakland only having 8 shots and 5 of them on frame. Efficient, yes, but that is a large volume of shots to have defended from the Spartans. Alex Flowers, 9 total saves during that game, where Michigan State was only able to muster 2 of them. In corner kicks, Michigan State would have 12, while Oakland just had 1. So it was really, amongst the scoring from Oakland, Michigan State was not holding back. They were fighting to get back into this, but we just couldn't let them, and they didn't. And Oakland would end up coming away with this with their first win of the season, 3-0 over Michigan State. That puts their record at 1-4 this season, 1-2 at home, 0-2 and away, with the Horizon League season on the horizon. This Saturday, the 14th, that's tomorrow, as of this recording, they will host Cleveland State at 7 o'clock at the Oakland Soccer Field. And then this coming Tuesday, the 17th, they will also host Loyola Chicago. A couple of promotions for these couple of games. Cleveland State would be the Club Day and the Gold Out, as in wear the colors of gold out to the game. And they'll be hosting youth clubs for that Cleveland State game, to try and give them a sense as to what the future holds for their potential careers in soccer. I always love how they involve the youth clubs like that. But then Tuesday would be International Day, where free for the ISSO employees. So great promotions are going to be had. They will then go on the road to Northern Kentucky on the 21st before coming back to face IUPUI, or that's not true anymore. It is IU Indy. It is no longer, the P is gone. The Purdue part is gone. It's Indiana University of Indianapolis now. We will be hosting them on Saturday the 28th. So that'll wrap up the month of September with these slate of games. 3 home games, 2 of which in the Horizon League, and then 1 Horizon League game away. So it's going to be a lot of fun for the Golden Grizzlies. And what's also going to be fun is all the club sports they have coming on for Oakland University. So make sure to check out all your club sports. Their Instagram pages will be linked in the description below for football, for lacrosse, men's and women's, for rugby, for soccer. Listen, they got clubs all around: hockey, bowling, figure skating. I'm serious. They got clubs for all of this stuff. So for you guys that are, used to play in high school, or just want to try a new sport, it's a great way to make friends. Club sports are the place to be. You can go out and watch them for free. Oakland football is going to be starting tomorrow as of this recording as well at the Elaine Lay Track and Field Complex against Lansing Lightning. We just had an interview come out with the football team on WXOU Sports. I talked to Max Racknagel and Rocky Jacobs, veterans and e-board members of the team. Be sure to check out that video. Check out the Golden Grizzlies club sports wherever you get them, wherever sport you want. Go and find and support your club sports. So that will wrap up the Golden Grizzlies part of our show. We'll get into football therapy coming up next. We'll be talking about the Lions against the Rams. We'll be talking about my picks for week 1 and the picks I'll be having for week 2, and a heads up for the Lions and the Bucks game coming up this Sunday. We'll talk all about it on football therapy from the GioMoShow. We'll take a break.